Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to discuss another episode of Loki, the third episode of the season and all that stuff. Let's see, titled Lamentus, I believe, in which is based off of the planet and which is based on a planet that's based on some sort of comic book planet, I believe. I'm not sure if it's one that they've made up or what, but anyway. The episode continues off where it left off, where Loki jumps through the time portal and all that stuff to follow the female variant of himself, in which they arrive at the TVA, and where the female Loki tries to apprehend and tries to infiltrate and go to where the timekeepers are. But before that, it kind of I suppose it should show. We should get to the bit where. We see before that the female Loki is is interrogating Hunter C20 about the information of where to find the timekeepers by apparently going through a memory of this Hunter, having a drink with someone, all that stuff, and she was revealing information piece by piece while she's using her enchanting skills to probe her mind and all that stuff. But anyway, inside the TVA, you see the female Loki fighting her way through and killing guards, trying to catch up to, trying to find the timekeepers with our Loki in pursuit and all that stuff. Before retrieving his daggers, they eventually skirmish and fight each other for a bit until Miss Minutes arrives with a few of her time hunters. The female Loki tries to threaten Loki's life, but has no work with Miss Minutes because, well, she doesn't trust Loki at all and all that stuff. So, Loki manages to escape. With a tempad, and they teleport away. And eventually they arrive at 2077 Lamentus 1, in which a planet, in which the planet's about to be destroyed by a moon. It's going to be crashing down on the planet, but dude, much to the female Loki's dismay, as the planet is crashing, as the planet is doomed and stuff, and this is the worst apocalypse amongst all those recorded on the time pad, and they can't use the time pad because charges are low. So the female Loki and normal Loki decide to work together, and at which point we eventually get revealed that she's changed her name to Sylvia Ladavidotti, which is based on two characters from the comics. The first is apparently Lady Loki, and Sylvie Lushton, who is apparently the second Enchantress. So yeah, I guess you could say the female Loki is the MCU's version of the Enchantress, since we didn't see those in the 4 movies, but who knows? As her powers, this episode reveals that she can use her power, but she taught herself these powers, and she can control people by touching them and going inside their mind. If they're weak-willed, it's easy to control them. If they're more strong-willed, she has to use a memory, such as the Sea Hunter, the 20 thing. But yeah. Anyway, as the two are arguing and trying to work together and all that stuff, and she encountered some resident in the house, which the female Loki tries to barge in, only to get shot at, and Loki tries diplomacy before doing the disguise of this person's dead husband. However, she's not falling for that, given how nice he is. To eventually, she just ends up telling them where there's a train taking everyone to this thing called the Ark, in which was supposed to get everyone off the planet and stuff. So they go to a train. So they go to the local train station. to the local train station to get on board. However, they need a ticket and stuff. So Sylvia is, I think, if I'm pronouncing the name right, is or Lady Loki, if you will, thinks she should just control one of the guards. Loki decides to disguise, which gets him to a certain point until one guard asks for a ticket before Lady Loki or Sylvia uses her enchanting to control the guard. And eventually they're in, and we end up having on the train talk to they end up having a bit of a nice talk between the two Lokis. End up having a nice talk in which Loki, they talk about his mother and all that stuff, and how he's been taught by magic by her and all that stuff. And the female Loki reveals that she doesn't have much memories of the mother, so she's pretty early so it seems like she's pretty early in Loki's timeline, as she taught her enchanting magic herself and all that stuff. And they have a bit of a conversation about, lovers and all that stuff, and I think it's revealed that Loki is bisexual in this one, but yeah. As the female Loki's interested in this sort of postman, well, Loki comments about, about having princes or princesses. So there's that. Anyway, eventually the female Loki ends up resting. However, Loki, who got drunk a bit earlier from all that stuff, ends up partying like in Asgard, singing Asgardian songs and then doing that. Another smash glove thing. Eventually, one of the passengers gets suspicious and calls the guards. They have a skirmish and scuffle, and to eventually, Loki gets thrown off the train, and the female Loki follows because she needs the time pad. However, the time pad has been broken, and she's pretty much mad at Loki and all that stuff. So, after a bit of a talk between the two, Loki realizes that they could possibly steal the Ark, since it's supposed to be, because originally they were going to try and steal the power source of the Ark, but since the Ark has apparently never left the planet, if we could get there on it and then pilot it and get out of here, they can survive and all that stuff. It could lead to their escape and all that stuff. So they rush to the capital, the place where the Ark is being stationed and all that stuff. During this course of as Enchantress is explaining her abilities and the Sea Hunter 20's memories, it's revealed that all the hunters of the TVA are actually variants, as C20 was actually a variant on Earth. And despite what Loki was told about all the Timekeepers creating all the TVA members, there were actually variants of another points of time. So, yeah, it seems that this is information that Loki did not quite realize, and perhaps he ends up thinking about what he could do some mischief with that information. But yeah. Anyway, they eventually arrive to the station and that stuff, and they fight their way through the guards and rioters and all that stuff. But by the time they get close to the Ark, just about the gates to that leads to the Ark, an asteroid or meteor shower, if you will, ends up destroying the Ark. Everyone looks on in despair and the hopelessness of the situation as they realize they're all doomed, and the female Loki walks away. First of all, I'm going to just say now, this is probably the most action-packed episode of Loki so far, particularly with the female one, as she's using all sorts of martial arts, daggers, enchanting spells to fight off TVA guards and then security guards, both on the train and later during the riots towards the end and all that stuff. And also between the two Lokis as they're fighting, which is quite interesting because it's nice to see Loki in action, because sometimes, due to the fact that Loki is mostly known for his trickster and character and all that stuff, I think we sometimes forget that Loki can also be a bit of a fighter. But yeah, but it's definitely, especially since we probably remember the most memorable fight Loki's been in is getting his butt whipped by the Hulk. But then again, that's fighting the Hulk. No one really, very few stand a chance against the Hulk in a one-on-one fight. But yeah. I do like how there's sort of like this buddy dynamic between Loki and Sylvie and all that stuff, as the two do not clearly trust each other. They all have their own plans and stuff. Like Loki wants to control the timekeeper as well. Let's see, the female Loki has other plans with like this whole destroying the, let's see, what she views as a dictatorship for the TVA, which she might be right, but we'll get to that in a bit later. Granted, we don't know the full extent of why she's doing all this stuff or what she knows. But yeah. But anyway, let's see. So yeah, I do like how the two eventually start to open up about each other, particularly Loki revealing his stuff about his mother, and then the Enchantress, her abilities eventually, and even her own past, which is very interesting. So it seems to be very early on that this Loki is that Sylvie, or let's see, the female Loki is from like our Loki, who seems to be way long before. Let's see, Loki ended up being trained by his adopted mother's enchanted abilities and all that stuff. So yeah, we should. There's probably going to be a lot. We'll probably find out more about it, but yeah, we get a bit of an insight of how far gap these two Lokis are. And she seems to be doing this operation of trying to cause disruption for the TVA for years and all that stuff. So who knows how many years, but or how old this female Loki is actually, since the Loki we know is towards near the end of like the MCU's Loki's life, as it's after the second Avengers, the first Avengers movie where he escapes due to the events of Endgame. So I believe, which is 6 years before Loki's death and all that stuff. So that's interesting. Anyway, with regards to the TVA, I like how Miss Minutes is just so ruthless. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna wipe you out. I'm gonna wipe out the female Loki, even if I have to kill the male Loki, which let's see, which kind of shows the female Loki that, yeah, Loki, this variant of Loki is not really all that important to the TVA and all that stuff. That, let's see, especially the higher ups. I mean, it's only Morbius that's been sticking out for this one because he felt that this one could help him find, let's see, the femme Loki and all that stuff. But yeah. Anyway, speaking of Loki, it's been confirmed that this Loki is actually bisexual. Now, apparently, Loki is bisexual in the comics. I haven't really read the comics that much, so I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm not sure what kind of controversy this has shown, or let's see. So, but yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure how fans have reacted to this. I'm assuming that most people online and all that stuff are probably reacting to positively, though I'm not sure if someone's saying this is like a, let's see, PC agenda or not. I'm not sure. Anyway, one thing, the planet Lamatus 1. I'm seeing, from what I'm looking on the Wikipedia page, many people have commented that this seems like a very Doctor Who episode kind of thing, which I can see how it is, though. It's definitely got a lot better budget than recent Doctor Who seasons, I'd probably say. I mean, but yeah, but still. I mean, it is the MCU, and Disney's got that Muller, let's see, compared to the BBC, I guess. Or at least what the BBC is willing to spend on Doctor Who, but yeah. And I quite like the planet. It seems to be some sort of like in purple wasteland with some industrial, let's see, with some industrial areas and all that stuff. That was a nice planet and all that stuff, and that's the main focus on it. Let's see, granted, I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised at how much time we spent on here, because I thought we'd probably have at least one scene back with a TVA. You know, it was only at the beginning, but I figured we'd see Mobius briefly talking with, like, Hunter B15, I think, and, let's see, Miss Minutes and all that stuff, talking about, let's see, how Mobius is split up and all that stuff. About how Mobius has, like, let's see, how Mobius is mucked up with this, like, variant of Loki, but no. Like, I like that farmer girl that was there. which I can't remember her name, but I liked how she just ended up just shooting the female Loki away from her house as she barged in, and not falling for Loki's disguise of her husband. So it's like, well, Loki may be a master of disguises and illusions and that stuff. He cannot read. He does not, unfortunately, do not know how to read minds of the residents there, of people that know the people he's transferring for. Hold on, let me rephrase that. However, he does not know the people. He does not necessarily know the people he's transforming into. So, but the people who do will be able to tell when it's not them and actually Loki and all that stuff. So that was kind of funny, especially how both were enjoying how the other ended up getting shot and all that stuff. One bit of information I do like how, despite the fact that even though they can mostly kick guards. Most of the guards' butts in this, if they screw up, like Loki did on the train, he can get thrown out of it and even break the time pad and all that stuff, which of course raises the stakes and all that stuff. So there's that. I like Loki mucking about on the train thing, but yeah, that was kind of funny. And the talks about the mother. Let's see. One thing I kind of like is that, once again, this episode continues on with very good cliffhangers, particularly with just as the two Lokis are, or Loki and Sylvia, are getting through the guards, and looks like they're going to make it. The Ark gets destroyed, and you can just see how everyone just reacts to the hopeless despair, with some people just falling to the ground, looking heads down, and all that stuff. Or some just quietly stare at the location, or in case of Sylvia, she ends up just walking away and all that stuff. And yeah, and you're left wondering how on earth our two Lokis are going to escape. Now, if I had to guess, I assume Morbius is eventually going to come and try and retrieve the two Lokis and all that stuff. Possibly not realizing that, well, granted, thinking that that might escape and all that stuff, though. Though granted, I assume if the TVA finds out that the female Loki is actually that they're both stuck then and they're gonna die, they might as well just just let them crash on the planet. But who knows? It's very possible that Mobius might still rescue them anyway, or he doesn't know about the fact that they're stuck there. But either way, I assume that you're gonna see the TVA probably save the two Lokis. Granted, that's probably the most predictable one, unless the two Lokis come up with another plan, all that stuff. But yeah, overall, I like this episode and all that stuff. And I assume that, one thing I do find interesting is the fact that the TVA agents are all time variants. So this will probably give Loki an idea of how to get the TVA members, or at least enough of them, to start rebelling against the Timekeepers, and he takes charge and all that stuff. As many of them are probably going to feel like some of them are going to feel like cheated and lied to, that they've been controlled and manipulated, but who knows? All that stuff. Overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. It had quite a lot. It mostly focused on. We didn't see characters like Mobius or Bee Hunter 15. We only saw Miss Minutes briefly and all that stuff, but it was mostly focused on our two Lokis, the one that we know and the female Loki, Sylvia, in which we got glimpses of what we got to know of this character and what's the difference between her backstory between Loki and all that stuff, and when and how far back she comes and all that stuff. Not to mention abilities. We also got learned that Loki is bisexual, which I have no idea what the reaction to is. I assume most people are positive towards it. And all that stuff. So, I mean, I'm not really real fussed about it, but I guess that's nice. And let's see. This episode is very different from the other two that we've got. With some, happy, with some finally praising it, and some a bit not really all for it, from what I can tell, since it seems to be very Doctor Who-like on exploring another planet that's doomed to die and all that stuff. And you got a sort of like adventure of like trying to get off. Let's see, with like the Ark and stuff. For the Doctor, it'd be the TARDIS, of course. But yeah. But overall, I do like. But I would have given this episode an 8 or 8.5 out of 10. But due to that cliffhanger, and so far Loki has been very good with, like, let's see, cliffhangers, particularly the last episode and this one, in which the female Loki is revealed and our Loki follows her in the time portal kind of thing. And then as these two Lokis are battling their way to reach an arc, let's see, a ship to escape, the ship ends up being destroyed, and you have the sense of all hopelessness being lost. Heck, you even get the music that kind of goes well with it, I guess. So, granted, maybe a bit out of place, but overall, yeah, I give this an episode a 9 out of 10. I'm looking forward to the next episode on Wednesday and stuff, though granted, if I review it on Wednesday remains to be seen. I have not been on time for any of these episodes, but overall, I've managed to watch them before it becomes too late. But anyway, I'm Blue Star Saber, signing off. Let's see, and all that stuff. But yeah, and goodbye, everyone.